armored giant, wreaking his prehistoric fury on modern man and his puny machines.
Giant monster flicks, or kaiju movies if you want to impress precisely no women ever, have always fallen more into the science fiction ballpark than they ever have horror's dimly lit churchyard. But that's not to say that the two are above collaboration. Before Godzilla was comically battling whatever leftover rubber the studio dug out of their warehouses, or kicking the shit out of the first thing the producers had glanced at out the office window like, okay, it's Godzilla Part 17, what's he fighting this time, guys? A rose bush? Yeah, fuck it, go on then. Before all that, he was evoking some of the most terrifying and truly visceral images ever rolled out into cinemas, as he reduced Tokyo to ashes as an allegory of the Hiroshima and Nagasaki nuclear bombings that famously spelled the end of World War II. While horror's monsters have always traditionally lain closer to home as grotesque reflections of ourselves or the possessions we surround ourselves with, there's still plenty of room for their behemothing cousins to well and truly put the shits up us. You know what, fuck it, I don't even know why I'm trying to justify showing you Crush, Crumble and Chomp. My justification is it's awesome, and more relevantly, it was also the very first kaiju based video game, preceding even the first official Godzilla game by 2 years, and laying the foundations for the many giant monster attack simulators that followed it, most famously in Midway's Rampage series. Released by Epix in 1981 for all major personal computer platforms at the time, I'm just playing it on the Commodore 64 because it looks prettier on there, fucking sue me, Crush, Crumble and Chomp places you in the scaly hide of one of 6 iconic monster types with the action spread across 4 major cities. You can terrorize Tokyo as Godzilla, tear down the Golden Gate Bridge as the Kraken, web the ever-living fuck out of New York as Arachnus, leave a trail of flaming shit wherever you went as the Glob, annihilate Washington DC as Machismo, or just be Mantra, I guess. Nobody wants to play as Mantra, he fucking sucks. The aim of the game is to cause as much destruction as you can before the army finally wipes you out, or the city's saviour, the mad scientist, manages to tag you with a slow-acting poison from his attack helicopter. There are a variety of different scoring systems available to help lovingly recreate some of the most iconic monster movies that the 50s and 60s had to offer. Choosing a game of destruction awarded you more points for tearing down landmarks and skyscrapers, whereas Killer Monster jacked up the score on account of how many civilians you crammed into your ungodly slavering jaws. Hunger management played a big part in Crush, Crumble and Chomp. If your monster got too hungry, he'd literally go berserk, and the game would relinquish control from you as he went rampaging towards the nearest food source. Or, if you were playing as Mantra, take off and just fly infinitely into the edge of the map, rendering it impossible to even quit the game until the army showed up to put you out of your misery. And this is on the Commodore 64, for Christ's sake. A hard reset would take another 10 fucking minutes to reload, so to keep that from happening you needed to A. Never play as Mantra, stupid flying fuck, and B. Eat as many people, cop cars, tanks and helicopters as you could wrap your horrifying forelimbs around. Listen to them scream. Nom, 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 nom. Each monster has not only their own varying resiliency and strength levels, but their own distinct abilities too. Godzilla could use his atomic breath to wipe out ground units and thrash his tail around to cause massive damage from the rear, while Machismo, being a giant robot and all, didn't have to worry about his hunger levels because robots only know how to make food, not eat it. That didn't look like it just shut in a bowl at all. If you weren't down with any of the pre-made kaiju, the game offered you the opportunity to make your very own from an impressive array of options governed by character creation points, or crunch credits. You could custom design your monster's appearance, their powers, their health regeneration and hide thickness, and even name them. Let me tell you, as soon as I figured out that giving a Brontosaurus wings and fire breathing ability essentially made it a dragon, New York was fucked from so many angles that it bankrupted itself trying to find out who the father was. It's worth stating again that Crush, Crumble and Chomp was released in 1981, which is remarkable when you consider the sheer depth and replayability of a game that embarrasses quite a sweep of modern efforts in the strategy genre, and although it was suspiciously derivative of the classic board game The Creature That Ate Sheboygan, it was still an incredibly ambitious effort for the time. The cities themselves were so enormous that they came with their own maps in the manual to help you find your way around and stop you from trapping yourself in dead ends. Perhaps the only thing that stopped it from being perfect was its clunky turn system that allowed other units to move after you'd chosen your action for the round but before you'd actually executed it, a mechanic that routinely made catching your next terrified meal something of a headache. Still, Crush, Crumble and Chomp is an irrefutable and influential classic that is still one hell of a lot of fun to play today. Unless you pick Mantra. Fuck off, Mantra. Next time on Dead Pixels, we're staying put in 1981 as I introduce you to the very first game to ever truly put the shits up me. See you there.